in need of men who will be men today. We are in need of men who will be men today.
What's up, my people? Welcome to the formula. We are here with Japreme Magnetic. 35 years in the business and still going strong. How are you?
I'm great. I'm righteous.
Already. I think that's what we all try to be. Kind of give people a little background on you, where you're from, and how that impacted the way that you make music today.
All right. My name is Japreme Magnetic. I'm from Northwest DC, and Northwest DC impacted my life a lot. So I'm a rhyme worker. In addition, I'm a USA or United States amateur boxing coach. As you see, I'm still in the gym. I studied New York hip hop, as a youngin' and whatnot. Um, I don't want to downplay anything yet. I would say like at the height of go-go music, DC is like the home of go-go music. So
Yeah.
mainly focus on the bands and whatnot. Yeah, maybe I was, well, at the time I was very much the odd one out of the bunch. I used to bang on tables, with the go-go beat and everything like that. And when Run DMC and the Fat Boys came out, I just fell in love with how to use the words.
Yeah.
So I've been, and, as a youngin' and whatnot, probably about 7, I can imagine that's when I learned to read. And like my mom, she used to, like prior to with Dr. Seuss books and nursery rhymes. So I've been rhyming. We had a little game and whatnot, rhyme time when it was time for me to go to bed. If it was hard for me to, to doze off or whatever, she'll throw out a word, and I had to think about what words rhyme with that word, and I would doze off. So, it was in my subconscious to rhyme. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. I always like to hear that kind of stuff because we all have those little stories that got us to where we are. So instead of we didn't just pop up one day like I'm gonna be a rapper,
Mm-hmm.
especially I'm of a certain age that rap was just hitting its heyday around the time I was 7, 8 years old. I was born in 72. And my cousin lived in New York, and he would play me the music from the street parties. He'd play them over the phone, and that's how I got introduced to hip hop. So it's always interesting to me to hear how people got introduced to hip hop the first time.
Yeah. 72. So yeah, I mean, what was out around that time? Probably Fatback and Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang, that era.
Yeah, it was kind of way before, it was even before the Sugar Hill Gang. I don't even think they had really a rap album that we would know of in Texas on the radio. It was just they were having street parties, and he would record them because he was young, so he used to hang out the window and record all the band, all the music that was playing, and he'd play it for me over the phone.
Got it.
Yeah. But what song solidified that rapping is, well, let me go back a little further than that. Did you start out as a rapper?
No, I started out beatboxing actually. full rappers, and
Okay.
it went from beatboxing to the turntables, cutting and scratching. I learned how to blend a few years after that, and I think I wrote my first rhyme. I was like 16, and so it's just it's a progressive situation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How good of a beatboxer were you?
I was good. I mean, I used to battle with beatboxing and everything like that in DC. Travel to Philly, battling with the beatbox and so forth and so on. So I was pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying? I just, it's not something you make a living with, beatboxing. So I try to expand my artistic abilities. I used to break
Uh,
dance, do graffiti, so I was, really involved in hip hop. I don't know, like in those days and times, hip hop was break dancing, it was the music, and it was graffiti. It may have been another element. Those are the three that I remember off top. So,
yeah, the dancing, graffiti, uh, the DJ, the MC,
hmm
knowledge.
yeah.
Yeah.
As it pertains to the knowledge, I didn't get knowledge until I was 17. Like really got into the
Hmm.
knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that
What,
uh-huh.
what propelled that?
I used to hear like, I've been a 5%er since I was 17. And
Hmm.
prior to that, um, it was a guy that was a relative of one of my friends at the time, um, Hugo, and he had uh, a family member from New Jersey that visited, and so that's the first time I really heard about the 5% and
Hmm.
whatnot. And I was probably about 15, 16 at the time, and then I ended up getting knowledge of myself at 17. So
And what what made you apply yourself? Because it's not. I know 5%er is not something you can just dabble in and say you're a 5%er. So what made you just really connect with
commit
it and want to do it?
various reasons. I used to hear certain MCs in that day, back then, and they might say like your strategy is now cipher, N is now in the supreme alphabet, and cipher is O. So they say it's pretty much saying your strategy is no, or you don't have
Hmm.
any strategy at all. And so things like that caught my attention, and so there's another brother, Amir. At
Hmm.
the time, he left his book of life at my when I was staying with my grandmother. We were staying at my grandmother's, and he left his
Hmm.
book of life, and I was reading, about the 5% and Islam and things of that nature. And even though we're not a religion, he still had, certain things in there pertaining to Islam and whatnot. And so
Hmm.
when he came over to get his book, probably about a week later, it felt like he took something from me, even though it was his. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got to get this. You know what I'm saying? Because I like learning, I like reading, I like writing, I like thinking. And so when we
Hmm.
write, we are thinking when we're writing. So it's a form of thinking. We put our ideas down on the paper.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So when you think back, what song was it or album was it that solidified in you that you wanted to be a rapper instead of a beatboxer or even a DJ?
The song, mm, that's a good question. I don't know the exact song. Like I said, like what sparked my interest in hip hop was Run DMC because my first adult record was a Kiss Alive record. Not only that, it
Mhm.
was a rock record; it was a live rock record. And so when they
Yeah.
came out with Rock Box, it kind of just I'm like 14, so it blew my mind. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? The wordplay and the electric guitar, I just never heard it that way before. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, that's what I want to do. when I heard rock
Cool.
box. And then, the Fat Boys dropped their album a few months after that with the beatboxing and stuff like that. So I got into it that way.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Mm.
So when you decided that you wanted to be a rapper, did you even know how to begin, how to proceed? How did you start? How did you start, or even did you even see it as a way of making a living?
Not at all. I don't think at that time it wasn't too many people actually making a living. It might be a few that got signed to Def Jam at the time when they had the Burgundy label, and we all the way in DC, so it was a New York thing. So I traveled to New York, and I still have family members in New York. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, just I don't know if I answered your question yet. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
When did you? How did you get to a point where you could even where you started to use rap as even a career choice?
well, that happened. I went away from 25, and from 25, I would say to 38, 39. So I was away. Now I just made a decision. I made a decision that when when I am released, my focus is going to be on music and boxing. That's it, and that's all I do to this day. I teach boxing to children, amateur boxing, and you know, we just have been expanding on our music situation in terms of a career.
Hmm.
Like prior to me going away, of course, we had like white label material out. We had like in high school, I was with the International Party Blasters IPB crew. And then when I got
Hmm.
down to South, I was in the actual facts with Father Lord. And
Hmm.
so after that, I was in another group, the Sears, with KZR. And so, I went away. But I always been involved in music. In terms of like this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm not gonna let anything or anybody stop me from doing it. That came, when I got a little older. I just had to make the decision. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because back then the thing was to get a record deal and whatnot, and
Hmm.
so the landscape changed with this whole digital situation. You pretty much have to, if you want to rhyme or you want to sing or do anything like that, you just have to put it out
Yeah.
and improve and meet people, so forth, so on. You know how it is. So I think like as I got older, I just made it a career choice. I just made a decision. This is how I want to live my life, and I'm not going to relent. I'm not going to go back. That type of situation. I just made the
Hmm.
decision, to go forward with the music and boxing. I mean, I make beats and stuff like that too. Yet
Hmm.
my producer, brother John Baines, he does 80% of my music nowadays.
Yeah.
Since my release and whatnot. And so I kind of let him, for lack of better terms, I kind of let him handle that, and I handle the words.
Okay.
So,
You, you've been in with that big of a break in
mhm.
between when you started and when you got out and started again.
Yes,
Um, how was that transition for you?
it was rough. I was terrible when I got out. When I was in, yeah, it's no problem. I'm gonna pick up where I left. My rhythm was off. Like it was just terrible. But I just kept
Hmm.
at it. You know what I'm saying? And I used to get ridiculed, for lack of better terms, all you stinking up the booth, so forth, so on. But now it's not that way. I come out the
Hmm.
booth, it's a bouquet of roses. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't start that way. You know what I'm saying? I was at one point in time I used to rhyme, start everything off a snare. Like I couldn't even hear the kick. So it was
Hmm.
it was at that point. You know what I'm saying? Well, now, I developed into I just developed. Like I said,
Yeah,
my thing is about incremental improvements, and so everything I do in life right now is about incremental improvements.
yeah. So how long was it before you felt that it was polished enough for you to actually start putting music out again?
I was putting out the stuff like on Bandcamp. We have, I don't know, I don't know how many releases, maybe 45 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 20 is I'm just really experimenting when I'm putting stuff out. It's I got I would say 2015, and when we dropped The Richest Man in the Cemetery, produced by Baines, um, I started getting my rhythm back, and
Mm-hmm.
I would credit December 2019. That's when we started with the live samples, and I started rhyming off the live performance samples. In all actuality, we are the first one to crack that code, for lack of better terms. In the history of
Mm-hmm.
recorded music, nobody ever rhymed off of live samples in terms
Mm-hmm.
of consistency as we've been doing it. Like every July and December, we release an EP, and all the music I rhyme off of comes with live performance samples. Once again,
Okay.
backtracking, my first adult record was a Kiss Alive record, a rock record that was a live record. And so I kind
Mm-hmm.
of incorporate that in what we're doing today.
That's a dope. Uh, besides the digital thing,
Mhm.
what is different between when you started and where you are now?
The difference? Mm, Good question. Um, yeah, without bringing up the digital stuff, like the evolution of music, like the youngins, they don't actually rhyme. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to put it on them. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Because pretty much it's just the digital situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do it yourself. It was kind of involved with the do it yourself situation. Proud of me going away, and
Mm-hmm.
it just continued from there.
You I know that life is often difficult to navigate,
Mhm.
and we all find these um we all have these pasts, but um what do you know now that you wish you would have known then to make your path uh, uh, a little easier than it was?
Uh, the thing is, you know, the accumulation of knowledge and the ability to think. So I think that I improved in those areas of my life over the years, and I don't want to waste time. Like the
Mhm,
human life expectancy is about 80 years, and so we don't have that much time to find ourselves, for lack of better terms. Um,
mhm,
if you look how the planet is not a young planet, it's not an old planet. It got some it got trillions of years on it or whatever. So I read. So with that being said, just like as I mentioned, it's accumulating knowledge, more specialized knowledge in the field that I'm into. And I came across certain things. I started learning about personality. I started learning about how my personality is, Like I'm high in openness to experience, being
Mm-hmm.
artistic. I used to always think something was, wrong with me growing up as a child. Why am I different? So forth and so on. Yet everybody has a biological trait, a temperamental pattern. Mine just happened to be one of an artist. And so the thing with about the artistry, especially about music, music could be shared for free. So it's really hard to monetize. Yeah, people do support because they want more music from Japreme Magnetic and
Mm-hmm.
Spectacular RGM. So a lot of things, I pay more attention to. It's not like years ago, decades ago, whatever, that I was unfamiliar with the terms. It's just over time you start paying attention to the hunches a little more. You know what I'm saying? You start paying attention to the inspiration within myself a little more. Not what this person is doing or that person is doing, not being influenced by um, the media, not being influenced by anything. Just what's within your own self, what's in your own mind, and what's in your own heart.
Mm-hmm.
That type of situation. I think just over time we
Yeah.
just start to buckle down. Like we can't. I forget, what chapter and verse when they speak about, as a child you do childish things, and when you grow older you kind of leave those childish things behind. You know what I'm saying? So we're not children anymore, and nobody's gonna pay my rent for me besides me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nobody's coming. Yeah, nobody's coming to save me. You know what I'm saying? Self to save you. Like I said, certain principles I already knew. It's just um, you start to accept it for what it is and live it out. And as Earl Nightingale would say, life is a divergent problem. We just have to live it out. There's no solution to it. We just have
Mm-hmm.
to, yeah, we just have to do our best with it.
There you go. Let me add, when you um who are some of the people um you've had some dope collabs. I was listening to Finance and Firearms
Hmm.
and with Planet Asia,
Hmm.
who is dope. I think he's still putting out some dope music right now today. How did that collaboration come around?
With Planet Asia, that was more so my manager situation.
Mm-hmm.
I never met Planet Asia. We never met anything like that. It was my manager put that together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was a
I
dope
don't.
collab.
I appreciate it. I
Y-
appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fire. It's on my It's on my playlist now. I was like,
Peace.
oh, he put in work on this, and this EP, Science 40.
Yes.
It, the entire thing is on my playlist now.
Thank you.
I mean, it's fire.
Thank
What was your thought process when you made Science 40?
you. Well, Science 40, my thing, like putting together EP, I always try to look for a theme and try to stay with that theme. And
Mm-hmm.
so Science 40, it's a lot of, it's various things. Science 40, could apply to going away at 25 and getting out almost 40. So that's Science 40 right there. Science 40 is also a plus lesson uh, that we have in the 5% nation. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, another aspect of 40, which I won't get into, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so that's pretty much in the gist of it. And I'm glad the EP made your playlist.
Yeah, it's dope.
Thank you.
I love the way you write. You 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 have this ability that I felt the words that you wrote, and Even if I didn't know exactly what it was, I had to break out some of my 5% literature to see
Some references.
to see what the references were. Then I, you know, hit a couple of people in the DMs like, okay, what does this mean? Have them explain it to, because I'm from Texas, so uh,
That's
uh,
fine.
yeah, a lot of it was a lot of times I love the 5%ers because I learned so much, when they write. And you were no different. You didn't disappoint at all.
Thank you.
Um,
Uh,
where do you see yourself in 5 years?
uh, 5 years. Let me see. Hmm. Uh, like excluding like material stuff.
Huh?
5 years, excluding like material goods.
No, I just mean you yourself,
Uh,
not
it's
even
really hard to
material
say. I
goods.
mean,
Just where do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
where do I want to see myself? Um, I know I want to be closer to um, like it's three amounts of money that a person should focus on. One is their annual income. Second is savings and investments, and the
Mm-hmm.
third one is retirement. So that's kind of been my focus. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
be straight with those things. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go to a bank, or say like the subconscious is similar to a bank. You go to a bank and say, I want to. We only get out for once. We only get out of life what we put in. So you
Mm-hmm.
go to the bank and I want to withdraw a lot of money. They don't know what a lot of is. You can
Mm-hmm.
go to the bank and ask, I want to withdraw $100. I want to withdraw $100,000. They
Mm-hmm.
understand that. Same way with the subconscious. So we can't put nonsense inside of subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Me, in 5 years, I just envision myself, still being on this planet. I just want to be healthy. That's where I envision myself. Because pretty much, I have everything I want in this life right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not injured, and nothing, no major catastrophe stop me from doing my thing. Like I know people that used to walk that's in wheelchairs now and things of this nature for something that like something life changing happened to me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 years from now, I just want to be healthy. I want my fighters to win their tournaments and things of this nature. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it. Like I said, my focus is on those numbers that I have. You know, because when I hit the age of retirement, I want to be financially independent.
There you
How it
go.
said, out of when a person is 25 years old, you ask them, do they want to be successful or not? 9 times out of 10, they would tell you, yeah. Then in the 40 years that we have from 25 to 65, when we hit that retirement age, it's probably one person who's rich, four are financially independent, five are still working for somebody else, 54 are broke, and everybody else is dead. So my focus
Amen.
is my numbers. I'm just focusing on working. After I made a decision what numbers I need to survive and live comfortably, so forth and so on, then I put the number to the side and just put the work in. So, it's really kind of hard for me to say exactly where I'll be in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, you never know what you're gonna stub your toe in, or when you're gonna stub your toe in the dark. So it's just that
Already.
way. Hmm.
When you think about your life in its entirety, who were the, let's say, three people who added to the formula of who you are today?
Three people. Well, I would have to say my mom's my old earth due to the fact that she gave birth. You know what I'm saying? I would say Lord, because he was my educator and he helped me out with knowledge of self. That was my go-to person as it pertains to what I needed to learn as it pertains to being a 5%. The
Mm-hmm.
third person, mm, third person. Maybe, I mean, it's a lot of people that showed me love, so forth and so on. I just at this particular stage, I will have to say Buddy Harrison at Old School
Mm-hmm.
Boxing Gym because it was something I wanted to do. Like I know that uh, as good as I feel that I am in terms of fighting, I can't win a world championship at my age. Yet I can help, the youngest coming up to fulfill their dreams if that's their dream. I can help them. And
Mm-hmm.
so, with the gym, it gave me a platform to help the children out in that aspect. So, I've been at Old School since 2014. And I probably missed 5 days out of all those years. So, yeah, those would be the three people that I could think about right now. You know what I'm saying? That helped me out. My old earth, which is my mom's, and Father Lord for helping me out with supreme knowledge of self and getting, help me out with that path, the path of righteousness, and Buddy
Mm-hmm.
Harrison as it pertains to the gym and helping out the children.
That's a dope. What made you interested in boxing? How did you get into boxing?
Uh, like before I went away, I had a brother, FG, Father God. He used to box in the amateurs and whatnot, and he had a little pro experience. And he used to bring us to the pro am bouts. Yet I was never really interested. And while away, long story short, it was a boxer named by the name of Diego Chico Corrales, and
Mm-hmm.
he fought Floyd Mayweather. They were both undefeated. I think Floyd dropped him like 5 times and stopped him. So Chico Corrales, we about the same height, about skinny guys that could punch hard and stuff like that. So I
Mm-hmm.
started paying more attention to it, and I started paying attention to the fact that boxing is actually a science.
Mm-hmm.
It's a phenomenon. How things occur in that ring. So almost infinite possibilities that can actually transpire in that ring. In a 3 minute time period or less or more. So yeah, I kind of grew up, fighting in the street, not like starting trouble, but I'm not gonna let somebody carry me. Same thing when I was away. I don't start trouble. I'm not gonna let you put your hands on me, as I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I put it this way. Like I used to tell people, my mom's had 5 daughters, and I'm not one of them. So that's pretty much how I carry it.
Yeah, it remind me of something 50 Cent said. I don't want no problems, but if you got a problem, no problem.
Right, right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. You said it correctly. You know what I'm saying? You said it correctly. So
If who's some of the people if you had a chance that you'd want to collab with, either as a with um either rappers or even producers or even singers.
collab. Uh, is this a dead or alive question or just who's living now?
It doesn't even matter, dead or
It
alive.
doesn't matter. I would say Guru from Gangstar. I would say Coogee Rap, who's still living. I haven't collaborated with Coogee Rap. Um, the BG from Cash Money. Cash Money. Yeah, I respect the BG's his flow and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. So those would be three in terms of MCs. Um, I didn't get an opportunity to collaborate with Mary J. Blige yet. Um, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? I like and respect certain producers. Yeah, Baines is my guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with your tone, with your tone, I would
Mm,
love to hear Mary J. Blige on a hook with your voice.
that's dope. Thank you.
That would be a dope collab.
Specifically, I would like to do something, especially with her. I would like to
Mm-hmm.
do something about autism with her,
Oh, okay.
if that could be, yeah, you know what I'm saying? If I could, I do my spectacular righteous gunman thing on most of my material. Like with her, I just want to sit down and yeah, speak
Yeah.
on that issue. You know what I'm saying? I got a family member, an older cousin who's autistic, so I
Mm-hmm.
know what it is. And she looks like, she over her career, she has the ability to capture one's emotions.
Yeah. That would actually be pretty dope. I would I think and it's also a topic that's not touched on very much.
Mm.
Um and I'm a nurse, so
Okay,
you
peace.
won me over with that one.
Mhm.
Because I think the spectrum is so wide and people have such deep misunderstandings of it, as a whole. And I think people like to label people as their disease instead of
Mm.
a person who has
That's
autism. They always want to call the person their disease. And I think that even a change in verbiage would go a
right.
long way to open people's eyes to what it
That's
really is.
But it's not a disease. It's more of a condition.
Yeah, but it's a health issue for the medical field. We try not to label people their health issues. It's kind of
Mm.
like a person who has cerebral palsy. We wouldn't just say that's what they are because that's just what they have. Who
Mm,
they are
mm.
is just totally different. That it's separate from what they have.
That's peace.
That's kind of how we think about it in the medical field.
Okay.
It keeps you from being so judgmental and applying judgments that shouldn't be there.
Mm. I agree.
Yeah, when you um I just I am really so impressed by your life in general. Um, because even though you had hard times, to see that you've turned it all around and applied yourself to something greater than even um, most people do who have everything going for them from the beginning, to watch you
Mm.
to see that you have started helping young people achieve their goals is an amazing thing to watch. And I don't think people always get their flowers. And I would like to give you some because
Thank you.
it's amazing to see. And it's very well done.
Thank you.
Your music is very well done also. And if you haven't listened, go and pick up the EP. Can you drop your ads? Can they get the music? Where can they get in touch with you if they want to talk with you?
Hmm. Well, for the most part, everything is Japreme Magnetic. On Instagram is Japreme_Magnetic. So, you can holler at me on IG, Twitter. Um, we have the visuals on YouTube, and Bandcamp is my go-to spot in terms of the EPs. So say Science 40 for a person to download Science 40, make a purchase. There's a bonus track. There's a bonus item with the purchase. And, the streaming platforms, United Masters, I think we're on 150 digital stores, so forth, so on. So, they could take a listen. If it's something they into, and they're into that type of hip hop, then they should enjoy, what we have to offer.
I have one more question.
Yes.
What do you do to keep your mind clear and keep yourself focused on your goals?
I wrote a goal down, and on a piece of paper, and I keep it in my pocket. So anytime I start feeling some kind of way, I put my hand in my pocket and I look at my words that I wrote down. So that's what I do. Before I go to bed at night, I look at that goal, and so when my conscious mind shuts off for me to get some rest, my subconscious mind is still going. That's how we dream and so forth and so on. So in order to solve my problems, for lack of better terms, I look at my goal before I go to bed. I think about my goal before I go to bed. So when I wake up, I'm like, there's an avenue I could pursue, for lack of better terms, as it pertains to that goal, to achieve it. Once you achieve a goal, then you can set another goal. And until then, we still have to put it in our minds, saying what that goal is, and put the work in. And so, I have a good team, with Baines and Black Man, my manager, and MJ, and things of this nature. So it's good. I don't have any complaints in my life. You know what I'm saying? Just focus. Like I said, that's the only thing I could really suggest to people, to not put nonsense in their subconscious, and write it down in your own handwriting and put it in your pocket. So anytime you start feeling like you're gonna off your goal, or something is you may allow something to probably into your field of consciousness that may upset you, put your hand in your pocket and look at the goal and just focus on that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my suggestion. That's my answer to the question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. We truly appreciate it. Everybody follow, and subscribe. And any shout outs you want to give? Any upcoming things you want to promote?
Not at the moment, in terms of upcoming things. Still working on stuff, and just stay abreast of what we're doing. Like I said, by way of Instagram and Bandcamp and Twitter, so forth, so on, Patreon, that type of situation. We have a video shoot coming up for track number 4 of Science 40 this Saturday. And most of my Saturdays are that way, either focus on music or one of the children or a couple of children have a boxing match that I have to help them out with.
All right then. All right, everybody. This is SP with the formula, and we out. Peace.
Formula.